These gifts are perfect because they're personable, they come with love, they come with care, they make people feel special. And truthfully, they're not mass produced, which I think makes them unique. And they just show that you care, which is, what we're all kind of looking for.
Yay Networks.
A quick note before we dive into today's podcast. If you like what you hear, I would love for you to subscribe to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, wherever you download your podcast. It would also be incredible if you take a minute to rate and review this podcast. Those things do matter and they really help us. All right, holiday gifting, y'all. It can be a lot of pressure. It can also be just truly a thrill when we're pretty sure that we've landed on a gift that they're really going to love, but it can be a challenge and it can feel like a lot of pressure to find that special item, especially if we personally aren't big things or items people, or for people that we're gifting to who don't want to maybe just simply get more stuff. We want it to really be meaningful. So I'm all about gifts that support our whole body wellness, our physical health, but also our mental, our spiritual well-being. And these are gifts, but they're also benefits, and they're also how we can show that we truly love and they can give throughout the year. They're things that are improving ourselves. They're things that are improving those that we love around us. And so we've got a lot of gift ideas here for you. And it's not just me. Joining me is one of my favorite people, Ben McLauchlin. Ben.
Hey, Molly, thank you for having me. I love this topic. And I look forward to diving into some of these specifically around the edible gifts given at Christmas. They're a little more personal. You put a little bit more heart and love into it. So I look forward to chatting about some of that.
And thank you for doing 2 podcasts with me this season, because one, like our whole peppermint, just pulling apart everything peppermint. By the way, I've kind of, if you are listening to this with Ben and I on gifts and you also love peppermint, be sure to go back and listen to actually, as you and I are recording this, peppermint is coming up. Peppermint will be next week. Is that
that's funny. Molly,
Yes.
I'll tell you the dessert that we feature on the peppermint is, I don't even remember what we called it, but it used to be like almost as good as Robert Redford or better than sex dessert. People have known for generations. But we definitely added peppermint to it.
Yes.
I gave it to a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Andrew Blackwell's father.
Yeah.
And he goes, I was like, well, Andrew, what was the feedback? He goes, well, it was pepperminty. I'm like, well, then it served its purpose.
It's so something like, that's the way like an older parent responds. And you're like, and is this good? Is it positive?
He was like, well, I can taste peppermint. I'm like, well, it's a peppermint dessert.
And I've said to several people as we've talked about like holiday things, and you talked about with peppermint, you were like, why is it that we do it in the winter? Or like, wouldn't we want the cooling, refreshing peppermint in the heat of the summer? And I was like, that is such a good question. All right. So gifts though, we're talking gift giving. And are you a big present person, like wrapping a present to give, or are you more of an experience person?
So that's a great question. I do not like receiving presents, but I like giving presents. So I don't know where you stand on that, but I'm fine. Like on say Christmas morning when people are opening, I'm fine having breakfast, having my cup of coffee, and I get true joy watching other people open presents. I am fine if the present does not show up near my chair. I don't. I'm a little bit of a minimalist. I've moved a lot in life. I'm mad, so I am a little bit of a minimalist. So the excess drives me a little bonkers. And I don't know if this was weird, but back in the day, I also don't like wrapping paper. I don't really get it. So I would take my mom sewed, little seamstress. I would take scraps of clothes. I would put gifts in there and then wrap it up.
Were they cute, or did they look like something someone found at like a shelter?
Well, Molly, do you know me? Also, listen, back then I was maybe 10 doing that. So it may not have been. I may have thought it was cute.
Yes. No, that's really creative though. That's a very green way to do it. I am like you and the being more of a minimalist. I'm not so much of a accumulating things just to have things. And so I kind of feel the same as you do. If it's something that's meaningful, if it's something that maybe I'll have a lot of use for. And so that's actually, I think, what a lot of these gifts are that you and I are going to be talking through. It's less about the items or the objects and more about things that we're really going to be. These aren't like collect and dust up there. It's not something you're going to be looking at. It's something that you're either going to be using or it's an experience. The first we've got three that, well, I'll also say this. I have written an article for the Times-Picayune New Orleans Advocate. And so I'll link to that on NOLA.com. And it's a streamlined version of what Ben and I are going to be talking about. But if you can kind of look to that as kind of a resource for a lot of the things that we're talking about. But one, Ben, that we use, have you ever made coffee with the mocha, like the stovetop mocha, whether it's decaf or regular espresso?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I've never heard of this.
Next time you're here, I'm going to make you some.
Okay, yes. I'm waiting patiently. I'll be there tomorrow.
If I can, anything to lure you to New Orleans. If it's a good cup of coffee, I'll do it.
That's right.
So the mocha, it's spelled MOKA, and it's a stovetop like espresso maker. And it is, I didn't know this, but as I was writing the article, I learned it was designed by an Italian engineer back in the 30s. And so it's almost like 100 years old. It requires no like electricity or power. And it has kind of like actually three main compartments. It has like the bottom you fill with water. Then it has like a little metal basket that you set down into it. And you would put like your finely ground like espresso. And then you screw the top on, and that top part is the well that the coffee kind of fills up into. And it's something you could do it if you were camping, or it's something, it's just it's kind of an old school way. It makes the best coffee. And so if you've ever gone, to a really like a coffee shop that you're like, man, this is really good coffee. It tastes totally different than what I make at home. Or if you've traveled outside the country and had really good coffee, this is going to give you essentially that cup of coffee.
No, it sounds delicious. Molly, I don't drink caffeine.
I know. That's why I offered up decaf.
But the interesting part is this reminds me, because there is a bit of poshness or fanciness around a really good cup of coffee. Don't you think?
Well, and it's a slow cup, it's not like you're not just pushing a button. It's
like an Americano drip or something.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer. It's usually what we do. Typically, it's been like our weekend coffee. And actually, it's been our weekend coffee for years. And then I think it was about the time that I was writing this, I thought, why is it just the weekends? Because in the morning, I realized if I come down just during the week, by the time I'm doing kind of all the other little things that you do, just, when you're like, what do I do that takes 30 minutes in the morning before I'm even having that cup of coffee? Like all the things you do, if it's like water in the front plant, turning the lights off, just all the little stuff you do. By the time that happens, that stovetop mocha is ready. So I've started having it more also during the week, and then definitely on the weekends when we have more time. So that's one. It's like, it's $40, and it's something that would last literally forever. It's something that's built to last. It's not something you're going to have to replace. There's also zero waste. Like you don't have filter or any of that kind of stuff.
I love it.
And then
it sounds wonderful.
It's really cool. So I can't wait to make you a cup. There's also this travel mug that I put in the gift guide bin, and it's called like Zoji Rushi, I think. And it's like a miniature little thermos. They have like 12, 16, or 20 ounces, but staying in the whole like Italian vibe of coffee. I was like, first of all, they don't ever put their coffee in anything to go. So they would never use
One day,
these.
Molly, we're going to do a podcast from Italy.
Oh my gosh. I would love it.
I think it'd be amazing. But what I love about this travel mug is the fact that it also has that system that prevents spills and leaks. How many times we've been driving and we can't say words on this podcast that we may say in our car when coffee spills on our lap.
It's that. And it really like locks and clamps down hard in place. And then they make this claim that it keeps your coffee hot for hours, even if it's been in the freezer. And I'm like, does it? So I was going to put a cup of coffee in there. And Brad's like, don't waste a good cup of coffee putting it in the freezer. So I just did hot water, like piping hot water out of the little Nespresso thing that we have. And it was like 4 hours, 5 hours. I took it out of the freezer, and it would have still been a satisfyingly, I would say, really warm, not piping hot, but a good cup of coffee. So I was happy with that. So those are things, if you've got like the coffee person in your life, or the person who
Yeah,
spends a lot of money on coffee
even
and they're looking
decaf,
to save.
even decaf, it's fine.
Right, right.
Fine. So I love a good cup. And typically, I don't know if you know this, Molly, but when you go in to order a decaf, they actually have to do the slow drip.
Oh, so you're getting a good
Most like
quality fresh coffee.
shops do not actually carry. They don't have decaf ready to go because
Yeah.
it's uncommon. People historically drink coffee to have that caffeine hit. I don't need that because, as we all know from other podcasts and just interacting with Molly, I am hyperactive. So I don't. I can't. I just can't do the caffeine. But they do this beautiful. It literally have to wait 5 or 10 minutes for it to finish while other customers
Yes.
brew. But I just know that going in, I noticed that I need a decaf Americano drip. They get me, and then we move forward, and I just sit down for 10 minutes, and then they're ready.
And you've got like the freshest cup.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So something like that mocha espresso maker or something like that travel mug are things that I think if you're looking for that person who wants quality coffee, the mug could be for tea or any of those things. Also, I think the person who's spending a lot of money on coffee outside of the house, this can be like a way to also help save that. Okay, so Ben, switching gears completely from coffee to gifts that aren't as much a thing, but well, I guess it's still a thing, but books. You
Yeah, books are
have,
definitely a thing. Come on, Molly.
but it's also the experience. I feel like books are a
Yeah,
thing, but books are also like self enriching, or they're educational, informative. They're um, the experience, not just an item. So before we started, you mentioned a book that's one of your favorites,
what did I say?
The Love Language.
Oh yeah, let's go. Go. Love
Okay, then let me tee it up again.
it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So before we started, you were telling me about one of the books that's one of your favorites.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like a lot of people have heard of this book. We're laughing because Molly asked me this question. I was like, now what? Um, and then we paused and I was like, oh, yeah, I did bring that up. But Gary Chapman has a wonderful book called The Love Languages. I know a lot of people discuss this, or it may come up casually at a dinner party or something. And it is a good kind of starter, unless people have some contention around it. But the five love languages, and it's specific even to this gift giving, because one of the love languages is gift giving,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I think there's acts of service, there's touch, there's quality time, and I think words of affirmation are the five. They may have branched out to a few more since way back when I learned them. But that's where gift giving comes in some ways, is that like Molly, you and I, it sounds like we don't receive gifts. That's not how we're loved. But like, for instance, I know my mom is loved by receiving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a quality time acts of service guy. So that's how I love people. So I love Gary Chapman, love languages. I think we learn a lot about ourselves, but also about our friends, our family members, our significant others. So I love that book.
I have heard of people speak of love languages or this is my love language and having the conversation around that. And I've known that that's something that you have spent a lot of time kind of like learning about, and it's important to you to know other people's love languages. I did not realize though that it was a book. I don't know what I thought
It
it
is.
was. If I thought it was like a podcast or I don't know what I didn't realize it was an actual book. Have you gifted it to anybody before?
I've given it to a few people just throughout
Hmm.
time. I've given it, but because I think what's important for people to realize when it comes to love languages, like even if gift giving, like this is all about gift giving, this podcast, but like for instance, the way we give love may not be the way we receive love. So I may give love in acts of service. I may give love in that quality time that you speak of, but I may need to hear words of affirmation to actually feel loved.
What has the feedback been from people you've given the book to, or have you gotten feedback from them?
Oh, I would say probably the feedback is that the people I've given it to have typically been and historically been familiar with the love languages. So it wasn't necessarily new to them, but there is a
Yeah.
test take. More than anything, it normally comes with a test. You can take the test.
Yeah. Right.
Now. You can actually take the test to learn your love languages. And then the book is really an accompaniment or a study guide to once you kind of feel like you've identified them, you can learn about how you receive love and how you love to love others.
So I feel like that's one that you have to know your audience if you're going to give that book. It's got to be, you know.
In some ways, because there is like a faith-based theme to it. So, if someone's not going to be receptive to that, then I totally get it. And but if they are receptive to it, then it would be a great fit.
Right. On kind of a similar vein, some of the two of the books that are currently like on my nightstand that are In the line of helping us slow down, helping us prioritize what really matters, there's two. I mean, obviously, there's hundreds, thousands of these books, but the two that are currently like I'm opening and reading actively. One is Essentialism, and I did a whole podcast like on the concept of essentialism, and I really love that one. It's by Greg McKeown, and
Yeah.
he also has an audiobook, and he's British, and so it's a really like I mean, you love listening to that British accent as an audiobook. And then the other one is called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And both of these, like the concept in essentialism is like, how do we narrow down the vital few from the trivial many? And how do we slow our minds and slow our worlds enough? And they have two very different approaches in how they kind of address it. But those are some that I've shared with my team. Ben, actually, like on Stillness is the Key, our Eat Fit team, like it's sort of like book club that every Monday on our team meeting, we kind of talk about, and the chapters are really small. And so we talk about like, just what resonated with someone in that. And it's one that I was like, y'all, we have a lot to cover. Do we still want to do this? Is this meaningful? Everyone was like, yes. Like this is like the way we want to start our Mondays. So that's been nice. And that was just not a holiday gift I did for our team, but just hey, I think this is just a good centering for all of us.
I think that's amazing, especially in this day and age. And even Molly, we've talked about our hectic and crazy weeks that just can't seem to stop, especially during the holiday season. So this seems like a timely. I want one of these books. So Molly, if you need a Christmas present or a holiday present, I'm here, and you know what to get me.
Yes. Anybody listening, also for us on these. Of course, we're going to do a plug for some of our favorite books. You and I have talked before we started recording this. We were actually also both talking about how much we love this person, Carolyn Ketchum. She's a brilliant like low carb baker. She's well versed in plant-based sweeteners and gluten-free flours. She does a lot of keto baking. She has a book called The Ultimate Guide to Keto Baking. It's what you've used as like, you've called it your Bible.
Yeah, it is.
Your baking Bible.
Low carb. And she has so many like just helpful hints, also short. What do you need to stock your kitchen with as far as supplies, but even as far as apparatus, as far as what you need to cook with. So it's just a really solid foundation for anybody who's curious about this low carb stuff or diabetic friendly or keto. And and I think Carolyn even has some dairy free options.
Mm-hmm.
She really can cater to quite a few different audiences.
And then, of course, we have our two Eat Fit books. We have our drink book, which is our latest book, Craft the Eat Fit Guide to Zero Proof Cocktails. And
I love it. It's so beautiful, by the way, Molly. Y'all, it is pristine. The pictures are amazing, especially coming into January for those of us who may take a little break after the holiday season. I know a lot of my friends are going to be looking for mocktails, and this book is perfect for that.
Yes. And then the Eat Fit cookbook, and in that NOLA.com article, we link to both of those. Actually, I don't think that we do, but so I may put that in our episode notes. But
Okay.
yeah, and so those are, of course, like our books by our Eat Fit team, but they're in both of them. They have, points of education, and it's like it's recipes, but it's also a lot of how to and a lot of kind of like some teaching points. The kind of still not as much books, but like still on the education. I love gifting experts in some way. And so, like someone may be like, you're getting me in a session with a registered dietitian. Like, what are you trying to say? But there's a lot of people who really want to meet with a dietitian, but maybe it's not in their budget. Insurance doesn't cover it. Same with like personal trainer or yoga or Pilates or any type of like maybe massage therapist, anything that maybe someone is curious about or wants to indulge themselves in, but either doesn't make the time, take the time, or, maybe it doesn't fit into their budget. I love those types. To me, those are evergreens that we can always gift. And Masterclass. That's another.
I love Masterclass. I did that. So during the pandemic, when we were shutting down, I signed up for Masterclass, and I would take my walks, and I would listen to the Masterclasses on my walks. And so I did some things on like photography.
Yeah.
I listened to some public speaking. Gordon Ramsay, I saw in our notes, you have Gordon Ramsay here. I practiced how he makes his chicken so that you can kind of spoon the butter over it in the pan and you get that little crisp crust and that kind of thing. So I learned that from him. I think master classes are wonderful. I think I've even listened to Robin Roberts also.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
So
they're wonderful.
explain to our listeners like how it works if someone hasn't done it.
Yeah, so basically what happens is you have an app, or at least I used to be an app. I'm sure you can do it on your computer too online. But I had an app and you pay for, I believe it's an annual subscription, Molly.
Right.
Yeah, you pay for an annual subscription. They do have some discounts. I see that we have a price here of around 180. I think there are some, you can find some discounts though when they're trying to move it, maybe during Christmas season or the holiday season. But basically, what you do is you have all these experts and all these different topics you can, genres you can choose from. And then whatever just may pique your interest. And truthfully, you may go in and be like, yeah, this one doesn't work for me. And then you can just skip to another one. But there's just a wide variety of topics
Right.
across the board. And like it's even like if you want to learn about tennis, like
Right.
they have a Williams one. Like it's just across the board. But I specifically loved any of their cooking or their leadership as
Hmm.
well. Most.
And there's like Ben was saying, Serena Williams is showing you like her technique and her strategy for like hitting a backhand, or like Gordon Ramsay with like how to get that crisp on the chicken, or David Sedaris is talking about how to tell a story with humor, how to layer humor into your storytelling. And so they are typically it's 180 for a year, like $15 a month. And I believe like now there may be like a buy one get one free membership for holiday
Okay,
time.
that's
So that
perfect.
would be like that's the time to do it. And yeah, I think it's one of those that you can do it at the desktop. I also do it like if I'm walking and listening. They're visuals, but a lot of times the person's just talking. Of course, when Serena is showing you her backhand, like you got to stop and look. But a
Right.
lot of it, you can just listen, even though it's a video of that person, you can still just listen in. The other is apps, kind of when we talk about experts, you can get people's sessions, like we said, dietitian, massage, different types of like classes or workouts someone wants to do. The guided and then masterclass, which is also experts kind of from afar that are,
Yeah.
experts in their field that you're doing it video based with them. And then apps. This is something for calmness and meditation. Like, have you used some of these?
I have used, I'm trying to think what's it's called PQ or something. And it is, but it's a meditative guide,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's this expert that speaks to like we all have our own saboteurs, is what they would say. And it's really those internal voices we hear that try to, and they can be negative sometimes, to try to stop us from convincing us
Right.
that we can do something. And so, specifically with this, you kind of acknowledge those saboteurs. Like I have an achiever in me. As you know, I'm a hyperachiever. When that hyperachiever comes out, though, it may make it to where I steamroll people. So if I can meditate through calming the hyperachiever to where I can just achieve, but I'm still being a team player, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
rather than just hyperachieving,
Yeah.
like I got to get this done and no one can assist me. So
So
that's something
it's even a
that
little bit
does.
more specific. Like it's not just that one is not just giving the support for mindfulness or gratitude or stress release. It's actually like really dialing into like your own makeup.
Yes, and what drives you, and like what are those voices that some voices are good, some are not as helpful.
Mhm.
So it's figuring like how to identify those different internal voices. And Molly, I know this isn't gift giving, but do you know that there are people in the world who don't have internal voices?
No, I can't imagine it.
There are people who do not have that internal voice speaking to them. There's like I don't want to I have these facts come from nowhere besides I swear like 30% of the world population they do not have internal voices.
I
But
wonder if those are also the people who have no conscience, who do, the
well,
things you're
that's
like,
called a
oh,
psychopath.
yeah.
We
So
have
hopefully,
serial killers, Molly. We don't need more of those.
no, no. So that
Okay,
one that
back
you were
to
talking
gift
about is
giving.
called PQ.
Yeah, I believe it's called PQ, and I should know this gentleman's name because he always introduces himself as we, and he does like 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and he guides you, and he does it through like touch and sensation. So you may touch your forehead, and then over the period of a minute, you slowly go down to your eyebrows and then to your nose, and
Interesting.
just
Yeah.
the sensation of your fingers on your body and touching these spots and going like I think all the way down to your chin is where you go, and then you may finish by putting it over your heart, but there is something calming about this
Right.
exercise.
Right. No, that's really cool. The two that I'm familiar with are Headspace and Calm, but this also the one you're talking about, PQ, sounds really, really cool. And these
Yeah.
are whatever it is, it's like and it's just like anything. And most of these you can do like a free trial. Like you can, a lot of times they may give you like 7 days for free or something like that, or like a discounted, and then like you can try it, see if you like it, and then like fully commit. And for all of them, it's going to be just like Ben was saying on Masterclass. You may start listening to a session and realize, yeah, this isn't really resonating with me. You try another and you're crazy about it. Same thing here. So trying Headspace or Calm or something like Ben said, PQ. But all of these are things that are sort of like the books we were talking about, Essentialism and Stillness is the Key. These are all things that are helping to support that awareness and slowing down and tuning into what really matters, And so, again, even if you are listening to this and you're like, man, I would love that, gift it to yourself or put that on your list for
Yes.
someone.
I agree.
On wellness gear, okay, this is going to be a strange thing, Ben.
I'm nervous.
I really wish we were in person so I could show you this. There is, I was seeing it online, so I ordered it because I was like, I couldn't really wrap my head around what it was just from the description. It's called, it's like basically an acupressure mat from a company called ProSource Fit. It's a mat. If you imagine like a little bit shorter, it's like a half size yoga mat, like half the length of a normal yoga mat.
Yeah.
And imagine it has like over 1,000 little plastic spikes coming out from it.
That sounds scary. And like, they had those that show back in the day, something with the star, like Circus with the Stars, where I think Brooke Shields walked across glass or fire.
Yes.
I feel like that's what you're doing right now. On this mat.
And so, but I'm reading about it and it's like, oh, it's energizing, it's rejuvenating. I'm like, oh, it seems scary. And so there's also what looks like it's like a little neck pillow. And the neck pillow also is like layered with all these plastic spikes. And the spikes are probably maybe not quite an inch coming out of it. And when you lay on it, you do it sort of gingerly because you're afraid like it's going to like puncture you. And I suppose if someone really had thin skin, you would need to use caution with this. But for the most part, this is available around. I don't think that it would continue to be if it was an issue with that. But I would say if someone has very thin skin, use caution. So I laid on it. And if you have several layers of clothing on it, you're probably not going to feel it as much. But if you just have like a normal kind of t-shirt type, shirt on or pants on, you feel this. And at first it just completely like lights up all these things in your brain. It's like your brain is like on fire, like trying to make sense of what's happening.
Isn't that wild?
Yes. And then you lay there and you're like, wow, this feels really nice. And then on the neck pillow, you can put it under your neck or you can put it under your head. And those like claw looking things that like scratch people's head. I don't know, like when you're.
Oh, I have one. Thank you.
It feels like that on the back of your head. So
Molly, I'm going to get this, Molly. I got to go shopping when we're done.
Go look for it. ProSource Fit acupressure set. If nothing else, it's going to be a talking point that if you gift it to somebody, everyone's going to be like laying on it and trying it out and stuff like that. So that's pretty neat. The other one that's sort of like in that same vein, you've used foam rollers. Yes.
Yes, I have. And it's been normally around PT and my hip flexors.
Right.
So I have very tight hip flexors.
I use the roller every night for the IT band. Like, yes, it's like, it's a therapeutic thing. Like you're not doing it because like, I guess some people are doing it because it just feels good, but usually you're going to use something like a foam roller and more of that therapeutic way. Have you ever used, there's one, it's like the brand of it and it's called Trigger Point Roller. And it's actually like a hard plastic inside and it has like little like nubs and like, it's like a 3D like texture on the outside.
I have not, because here's the thing, Molly, I'm the worst stretcher. I know I need to, especially as I get older. I'm terrible at this. And I see you like when we do our walking talks, you're like, wait, or while we're talking, you're like, I haven't started walking yet. I'm doing my roller and my stretches.
Yeah, you're right.
I need to do this. So if there was something that could guide me, and if it gave the sensation you just spoke about with that little acupuncture mat, I would do it, but lead us on. This is so new to me. I'm very green in this area.
Well, I'm laughing because you're like that acupressure mat. You're like, that sounds like something I would do. That's just laying on your back.
Well, listen, when I do yoga, I do child's pose the whole time. Let's just be clear. I'm here to relax. I don't want to be doing some downward dog and some crow. Like I just know.
And then you're like, what'd you do earlier today? Oh, I did some yoga. And then like,
Oh, I'm child's pose. I'm the one person in that class. Like sometimes I just stand there in the class and watch everybody do their stuff. I know the instructor's like, why is he here?
and the other people are like creeped out. They're like,
well, it's just too much. It's just sometimes for me, I'm there to relax.
Oh my gosh, Ben. So you really would sometimes in a yoga class with other people, you'll stand and just watch them?
100%. I also take breaks. I take breaks and I do child's pose.
I think that's fine.
I go mainly that bit at the end where they put their aromatherapy, which I think is also part of this a little bit with relaxation. When they do the aromatherapy and put a towel on your head or something, that is the only reason why I'm at yoga for that last. And when they do a little namaste blessing over me, that is why I'm there.
You're so funny. And like, but anyone who knows you is like, yes, it's like no one's going to think ever that Ben is being creepy. If someone doesn't know you, I would be like, God, that guy is just standing in the back. And like, they're not quite sure. What'd you say?
I'm banned from a few studios, Molly.
and then you're sleeping. Like when everyone's leaving, like you're still like sound asleep now with like the aromatherapy, the like cloth over your face. They're like, now we can't get him out of here. He's like snoring on the mat.
That's accurate.
Okay, no, I didn't know that was your approach with yoga. So yes, stretching is one of those things like doing the physical therapy and doing the stretching. It does take discipline. And I've used the foam roller for a long time. And then I had tried this trigger point roller at a different, like just somewhere that I was like, like I think we were traveling and like the gym had some like nice exercise equipment. And I was like, wow. So like a foam roller sort of compresses under your weight. And this has something on the inside that's essentially it's like PVC pipe. And then the outer layer has like these undulations on it that are kind of like they're pointy, but not like that acupressure thing. Like they're just like rounded, like little nubs, almost like someone's knuckles or something. And so,
first of all, did you come up? Did you say undulation?
Undulations.
Like that's somebody who lives on a foam roller. That's all I gotta say. Yes. And also, every time you say nub, that is one of my favorite words. My dad's dog growing up was Nubby. Like,
was he missing a leg?
You say nub, I want to chuckle like a 12-year-old, and I don't know why.
Was Nubby missing a leg or a tail?
I think it was just a tiny little tail, a little nubby tail. Every time you keep saying nub, I keep laughing inside. I'm trying to control myself.
So they are. So the nubs on the undulated surface are like, what the company says is they kind of like replicate the feeling of massage therapist hands. I would say it's maybe a little bit more like knuckles, kind of like that you're rolling, but it definitely like it gives like it like ups the game on something like a foam roller. So if you've got someone who's like a regular user of a foam roller or something like that, then something like the trigger point roller, I just think it's even like, it's even better and like better quality and provides like a better better relief for the things that someone might be using it for these muscles. Anything else in that space that you would say like gear?
Molly, I'm a hiker, but I feel like that's a little specific. So I love like water bottles.
Yeah.
Like I've got those water bottles I feel like we've talked about before. And I know water bottles are cliche, but they're the ones though that track, like help you get and coach you on as you get through your water all day. I know this, I don't know if that's considered a wellness gear.
Yeah, but hydration. Yeah.
But I do appreciate, and it's a very simple, like under $30 water bottle. And I think a couple of Christmases ago, I feel like I gave them to everyone in my family just to encourage them to drink more water.
Did they use them?
Yeah, they love them. The one I gave my mom and dad, they're not using anymore, but my sister saw it recently over Thanksgiving holiday, and she was like, "Are they using this?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh, we love these," so she just took it.
Yeah,
So and she's got like teenagers, and they're all active in sports. So they love them just because they're swimmers. And I know it always confuses me why swimmers, they do get dehydrated, but yet they're in. So they're drinking gallons of water all day long because they swim so much.
Yeah, and I think it's like that is something that doesn't it's not super expensive, it's not super
Right.
complicated, but it's usable. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not always going to be like a home run. Like you gifted it to maybe 5 people and three or 2 or 3 are like, yes, we use it all the time. It's perfect.
Yes. And my parents, as you know, are older generation. They did use it for a while. Like they did.
They
They put it
tried,
to their
yeah.
they put in their practice and they understood the importance of hydration.
But then your mom's like, but I like our pretty glasses in the cabinet and I'd rather drink out of that. Probably.
Well, that is correct. But there's also a generation of people. I wouldn't say generation, but there are people out there, Molly, who we know they just don't really enjoy water.
Yeah.
Like, they
Yeah.
they don't think water is very good. Whereas
Yeah.
I love water. I love
Yeah.
sparkling water. Drink water and coffee basically, and a glass of wine or two. But that's really my liquids to go to
Yeah, I
for
like
me.
that. I like that for just like a nice, simple. And what you could also do, depending on who it is, like if it's different teas or herbal teas or something like that, you could
Yeah,
even gift that with it because even if they're not going to go to the effort of brewing that tea, even if they put like the bag of it in that bottle, it sort of just
yep,
gives some infusion of flavor into their water without
yep,
anything else. I mean, you could also do electrolyte tablets and that, especially if it was maybe more for the athlete. But for somebody just like your parents, there's
yep,
all these different teas. Someone was, there's so many flavors. I mean, peach, cinnamon, peppermint, like it just goes on, all the different berry flavors. Like there's so much that like lemon or lavender, like whatever flavors they may like, if you gave them that, gift them with like a set of a couple of different ones and a water bottle, maybe they could put it in there and then it infuses that. So yeah, just kind of thinking through like those types of things. What about, well, on the same note, when we said that like not everything's a home run, I think I've told you
yes.
before, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, that it was not last year, it may have been the year before, that for several different people, I like my gift to them was fresh pressed juices from the Green Fork, the juice bar here. Did I tell you that?
You did it, but I'm laughing. I, I'm laughing. Please keep going.
Well, have you ever, when you've been here, have you seen the beet juice that we drink in the evening?
Yes, I've smelled it, and I think you take a sip of it.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's intense. It's earthy.
Well, if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, beet is going to be a 10. Maybe something with some green apple and spinach is going to be the one, or maybe that's the 10. Beet is the one as far as strongest, like earthy flavors. Beet is
It's
right there.
it's so intense. So what I did for the gift, I did from the Green Fork, they have little 6 packs and it's like they have a little 6 pack carrying case. And I did 2 bottles of the beet juice blend that I do called Balance, which is like beets and the greens and turmeric and ginger. And it's just like this like murky, heavy, deep, like it's intense. And it's a 16-ounce bottle. Brad and I like split it each day. And we've been doing that for years. But I know that that's not where most people are going to land. But it's also a really pretty purple, deep color. And then in the next compartment over in the middle was, I'm blanking on what the name of it was. Actually, wait, it is called Renewal. That's their carrot blend. And so that we
Okay.
had 2 bottles of their Renewal, their carrot blend. And then the last two little spaces in it was Love. Then that's their greens blend. Like you were saying, like greens with a little bit of lemon. It's like kind of the lightest. So it was a very pretty package because it had 2 green, then 2 orange, then 2 of this deep purple. You can put some ribbon around it and gift it to them. And some people were like, oh, thank you. Like, huh, okay. And, maybe they gave it to somebody else to drink. Maybe they drank some of them. But then others who I gifted it to, let's see, I gifted it to 5 or maybe 6 people. And 3 of those continue to do some version of fresh pressed juices on their own, which is great. Like they did it
Yeah.
before. And then the other 2 were kind of like, well, what do you want me to do with this? Like it was like giving them like maybe a
I think
vacuum.
it's funny that's the response because, like, So I know this is going to sound so silly. It's like a New York City kind of thing. So I worked in New York City as a management consulting in my 30s. And when I was in New York for like 2.5 years, that's where I saw my first juice bars.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Molly, maybe not for some reason, maybe intuitively, I knew this would be a good option to get some fruits and veggies in me. Is that I would, I just thought it was so fancy to go by and get a little juice to start my morning.
Oh, you were
From,
like, yeah, it was like super high end. Like you're in the big city. You're gonna do
yes,
what the like fancy people who are like so forward thinking are doing.
yeah, that's right.
Then I
So
bet you
I,
got a bunch of fruit juice in there.
well, I don't. The interesting part is that I don't like them too sweet, so I'm
Yeah.
okay with a little bitter.
Even back
Um,
then?
yeah, I know you're shocked. Even back then. So back then, well, we don't have to get into all this. That's a whole different podcast. But back then, I would do cleanses and detoxes. So I was used to some.
You were more
How
extreme in things. Yeah.
I was a little more extreme, but I would do like a week long detox and things like that with some drinks. So that's you. It would be interesting for you to actually look into that at another podcast and tell me if that was compliant or if you give a thumbs up for that. But
Yeah.
um, we've never discussed that. But
Well,
yeah,
for
so
our
did,
listeners, like also Ben, super, super nutritious cook, baker, very mindful of sugars, bakes with almond flour, does a lot of things we are talking about, like from the Carolyn Ketchum book. Um,
yes,
but before, you're like a self-professed Pauladine baker and cook.
that's right. So and like I have some friends in town this weekend. I have one friend and I just had to tell her, I was like, listen, do you have your lactose pills? And she goes, I should have brought them. I was like, because I got all the heavy cream up in all this.
um,
And I just put a little disclaimer that if you need lactose pills, you better take them.
you're hilarious. Okay, so we talked about coffee. That's of course where we started it. And then books, some of our favorite books, the love languages, essentialism, stillness is the key. Books for, oh, I didn't mention this. Books for like the home baker. We talked about the Ultimate Guide to Keto Baking by Carolyn. And
Yeah,
then the cookbook, the Eat Fit cookbook, or the Eat Fit Guide to Zero Proof Cocktail. So something, whether it's the home chef or baker or mixologist, something I love there is if you're going to gift that book, that recipe book or cookbook, then also if you can, gifting one of the ingredients that goes with one of the dishes or one of the recipes is also just kind of a nice way to tie it all together, you know?
yes, I love that.
We talked about masterclass, expert advice, sessions with an expert, guided meditations, wellness gear, this acupressure set that's just this like wild sensation, the trigger point rollers, the fresh pressed juices. Ben talked about kind of like specialty type water bottles. Anything else that is sort of like in your go-to that you love to gift, or things that we haven't talked about that you've gifted, wellness type things that have been well received?
So I don't know where you want to fit this in. I want to go on because I was just thinking about it specifically when we talked about this because Molly and I love tennis. Um, and the Serena Williams having the master class, but I also love giving a children's book. Like Serena Williams has just come out with a children's book that she wrote for her daughter. I think her daughter's name is Olympia. And I think it's called Kiki. It's and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing. I think it's QUI, but it's just like a coming of age children's book. Molly, I don't know if you know she had this,
I
but
didn't.
like I bought like 7 copies of this and just sent it to my friends who have kids. But those are things that I think it's fun every once to bring us back to just that spirit of youth every once in a while, to bring us back to that, to kind of remind us of the simple things in life. But then also, if you can find a children's book that does have that meaningful, like old school moral or message
Hmm.
that we can learn about just treating people better or being kinder or whatever, message that's just good to kind of reinforce. I love children's books and I love giving them out.
Do you know who has a really good selection of children's books? There's two things I'll say. Yesterday, I was actually with our publisher. We had a book signing at one of the holiday markets, and it struck me because they have our book Craft, which is this beautiful, as Ben said, it is a beautifully photographed. Thank you to our dietitian Hope who did the photography. Beautiful, kind of elegant book. Well, Ben, it was that in the midst of the regular books that are like the usual books that Pelican Publishing does, which is largely children's books. And it was
Okay.
so funny because the people coming to the table, they're flocking to the table for all these different children's books. And then it's like you've got this kind of, elevated cocktail book, and people don't realize at first it's zero proof cocktail. So it's sort of like the odd man out when we do
Yes.
like a signing, like with the publisher, with the other authors and stuff. But they have, so it's Pelican Publishing, and they do just a lot of children's books. They have also a retailer locally for those listening to this that are in New Orleans, Home Malone. We have to give a big shout out to her. Ben, you've been to Home Malone. That's where
I
we have
have.
the
Yeah.
yeah. She brings in a lot of the children's books like that, and a lot of them are, like Ben said, they have that moral, they have that lesson behind it, or they may be local, they may be like the New Orleans ABCs type thing. So there's either a local or something about a lesson learned from it. But that Home Alone, just in general, is also a really spectacular place for gift giving. She only stocks things from local artists or local publishers, like these Pelican books that we're talking about. Like, so there's just all types of things, from art to jewelry to children's clothes to door hangers to the children's books like Ben's talking about. So Home Alone it's one of my favorite places to go for gift giving here locally.
And it's a wonderful holiday movie.
Well, it's Kristen Malone
Okay.
is the owner. And so it's Home Malone. But yeah,
How
a lot of
cute is that?
uh-huh.
Okay, I did not get that. Thank you for the clarification.
Mm-hmm. So if you see it written as the logo, you see Home Malone. But yes, 100%. She's never said it, but I feel very comfortable that it's a play on the words there. But she's also just a beautiful, beautiful spirit of a person, and is just a really like lovely and like a person who really, like, people who are local artists who may not really be familiar with that space of selling their work. She also really works with them to mentor them. She did with me, Ben. Like, I had no idea how to price pottery to
Yes.
get it in there. And she was like, okay, here's what you need to do. Like, she just like walked me through it all. And she's just like really fair, really supportive. So yes, a local business here in New Orleans that I can't say enough good things about. They
Oh, I love
also
that.
have things like essential oil candles and different like aromatherapy things, sort of like tying out and rounding out if you are going to go watch Ben watch yoga.
Yes,
And-
exactly.
or if you're going to have Ben over and you're like, let's do yoga. And then all you do is light your essential oil candles.
And I will say, with candles, word for the wise, I feel like candles make me nervous because you do need to know what someone enjoys.
It's a
As far
hard
as-
one. Yeah.
It is hard because I actually have extreme allergies to fake odors. Like, if there's anything that's gardenia, you cannot light that candle around me. I will have a sinus infection for two weeks. Like, I actually, candles are not allowed in my home, Molly. Now, why are you laughing? This is a serious condition.
I don't mean to say it sounded so dramatic, but it was
It is
like,
dramatic. It's my life. It's my life.
if anybody has gardenia around me, get the hell away, because I will have a sinus
Any
infection.
of those potpourri things and
Yeah.
potpourri, gone. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
But I can do a little sandalwood, because if it's a little more earthy and natural, a nice lavender, that's a natural lavender. But you definitely want to know that about your audience if you are going to buy them a candle. Because I will tell you, it's a quick, like, hostess gift, even people, or a host gift. People bring candles. If you're hosting something, that's fine. But I end up giving it to somebody else.
This is to say, you've got to regift otherwise.
Candle. Yeah.
What if it's like a candle that's made with real essential oils versus the fake scent?
Yes, that's the only way I can go. It has to be real in that. Like, if I get a massage, I tell them I cannot do anything perfumey. A person on the plane with perfume, I know I'm getting wild right now. Obviously, I'm passionate
Or
about
in the
this.
gym.
Person
Yeah.
on the plane with perfume kills me, because I'm trapped for 2 hours and all I can do is smell their gardenia around their neck.
And then you're pissed off because you've got a sinus infection coming on.
Yes, I'm like, I am, for the 2 hours under this, I'm like, I'm going to be out for 2 weeks.
That's what if it's
Well,
real gardenia
compassion.
oil?
I need empathy. Like, I don't need to be laughing at my plight.
Well, now Ben has a house full of people coming in shortly after we're wrap up recording this podcast. And what I think will also be hilarious is if one of them brings you like a candle.
I live near a lake, and that thing is going in the
No,
lake.
it can't. You can't say that. A regift is a nice way. A candle can make a really nice regift, though.
I'm just kidding. I'm a fan of candles. I just think, like I said, know your audience.
Anything else that is we haven't talked about?
I know we've had, you could probably link to it. We've done some other like segments on like, I think we had a WGNO for the morning show.
Hmm.
We had a little segment on just gift giving and like cute little
Yes.
treats you can make. Like I bought some, when I host, I love the way I do a place setting. I love to get a mug, like a coffee mug or something maybe you even created, Molly, one of your pieces of work. But I do a coffee mug. I normally do the letter of the person sitting there. So for in my case, it would be a B. In your case, an M. And then I normally make like a take home little goodie bag of like Christmas cookies or holiday cookies or rum balls or whatever it may be. I put them in their mug. So that's their take home gift, but it also tells them where to sit.
I love that idea. And you're right. We did a podcast. It was either last year or the year before with like all types of gift giving that are things you would bake or make or, pull together. And that's where like Ben talks about all different types of things that you can make. And we link there to a whole bunch of segments that we've done, TV segments that you can see the visuals for that. And then also a lot that Ben shared on like different types of containers and ways you can present it. But I really like the mug with the initial on it. That's cool.
Yes, it's nice. And it's personable. It makes and I'll tell you, I said anthropology, but Target sells these mugs.
Yeah.
I've seen it recently with the letters on there. So you can find them in some more reasonably priced places if you don't have an anthropology.
And then something that I do love, and it's sort of one of my just go-tos all the time, is your recipe with like the candied cashews with Swerve.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
phenomenal. And so doing something like that, if you were going to put it in like a little cellophane, and then you could take it another step by gifting it in something like a little mug with their initial or something like that on it.
Yeah, and that kind of recipe, Molly, you can make in large batches. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's quick. So it wouldn't take that much of your time, but people feel, it's sentimental and people feel like you worked hard. It's like throwing the flour on your nose and be like, I've been baking all
It's true.
day.
Yeah. And you can freeze them. So you could like make it ahead of time and freeze it too.
That's even better. I love it.
Sweet. Okay. Well, Ben, thank you for carving out the time, not once, but twice for holiday chats with me to kind of share the creativity. And I think one of the things too that is really also just in hearing you, I knew it about you, but also in hearing it is like the thought that goes into it on your end.
Yeah.
And that you're also kind of gently encouraging all of us, like you said, no, ask a little bit, like don't make the assumptions and
Yes.
really just put a little bit of thought, maybe ask a couple of questions in advance and, really try to find something that is going to be suitable. And then if in doubt, what are some things that you would say, like, if you don't know any of those things, what are some just like, what's just an easy home run you would say for like kind of a wellness, better for you gift that like you can't go wrong with? Like if you were going to meet a stranger and you wanted to give them a holiday gift.
So for me, it's going to be one of the books or the children's book. I think that's very personal and it's unique and different. But I also think, again, it's going to be if you can just find a dessert that you feel like would be enjoyed. Like we've made some candy cane cookies before.
Yeah.
I think that's on a podcast. And you wrap those in like a little cellophane bag and then put those in a coffee mug or something. Or like you said, I know that Carolyn has a hot chocolate recipe. I think we've even made hot chocolate. What were they? Hot chocolate bombs back in the day. Yeah, I think we've made some of those, and we have. And if we haven't linked to that, Molly, I think there's on the Swerve sweetener, which is a natural sugar replacement on their website. I think we have those hot chocolate bombs. But I think I've even created those, which may be in a podcast too, or something we've done. And then we drop them in, and you can put that in the coffee mug. I just think that's very personable, and people, that's not something everyone would do for themselves.
Right.
And that's how I kind of think about it. Like, how can I be efficient? How can this be easy? How can it be delicious? But also, how can it also be a treat to make this person's life a little easier, maybe?
Right. And the hot chocolate bombs, there's a little bit of skill that goes into that. It's something that it's going to be, it's going to be time. But the candied cashews that we talked about, like that is...
You're bringing it back, Molly. You're bringing it back.
But that's almost... Not that there's no skill, but you don't have to have skill in the kitchen. Like those are going to be a home run for anyone. And if someone can't have cashews, you can rotate it with all like any kind of like nuts or anything like that in there, nuts, seeds, anything. All right, Ben, our final words before we're separating for the holidays.
Yep. I think that these gifts, hopefully people are inspired to do something a little unique. It is a treat to not always get some mass produced items. I know we're always in a pinch, but hopefully this will give some good guidance. So, Molly, I think this is some good content.
I love it. I love it. So being that little bit of thought, that little bit of planning ahead and finding something that is that gift that is not only something that they will love, hopefully they can use it. And these that we've talked about are things that do truly support our whole body wellness. And we're leading by example and encouraging other people to, take better care of their mind, their body, their spirit. And you can do all of that without even saying anything by just simply exposing something, maybe to something new or something that they wouldn't have treated themselves to otherwise.
That's right. I love it.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Awesome. Thank you, Molly. Y'all have fun.
Another big thank you to Ben for joining me. Like I said, not once, but twice he's joining me for holiday podcasts throughout the season. And I'm really grateful for it. Of course, think he's hilarious. He's always so much fun. He brings such energy, but he also brings just a little bit different perspective to things. And he thinks things through in such a different way and really gives a lot of thought, not just to something like this, like gift giving, but also the peppermint podcast that we talked about. Anything that Ben does, he really puts his whole self, his whole effort, it just gives so much thought and love to it. So I can learn so much from him. And I hope that y'all had fun listening to us just brainstorm some of our favorites on holiday gifting. As I talked about, we'll include the links that we were talking about in the show notes of this episode, and let us know what you think. If you're gifting some of these gifts, we want to hear about it. I am registered dietitian Molly Kimball, and you've been listening to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, the podcast. If you would like more Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, please head over to mollykimball.com. You can follow me, Molly Kimball RD, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you haven't yet, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And join us next week for another dose of Fueled Wellness and Nutrition. Thanks for listening, and stay focused on living your strongest, healthiest life.